Hey everyone, welcome back to the Spot for Fantasy Footballers. I'm Asa Rehman. I hope your FPL team is doing better than mine after game week 1. We'll be going over the traditional FPL game as well as fantasy draft content all in one video right here on the Spot. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It is the Spot for Fantasy Footballers. So a little bit later, we'll get to the fantasy draft content as well as Waiver 11 for Game Week 2. The Game Week 1 Waiver 11 team was okay. A couple players did perform, so we'll get a look at the Game Week 2 lineup in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk about the FPL game, the traditional FPL game. I said I'd be taking it a little more seriously this season, and it was a terrible start for me. Here's how I did after Game Week 1. This is my Week 1 team that put up a very disappointing 71 points, just 2 points higher than the average. It could have been a lot worse, too, if Son Heung-min didn't come through and pull through with 10 points. Salah, lucky that he captained him, so it was not even a respectable 71, but barely staying above the average. Definitely got to make some changes. Shifting the focus a little bit now, and it is now Operation Get Lukaku. So that's the goal now, and the person that he will be replacing in a few weeks will be Timo Werner. So unfortunately, it's Werner out for my fantasy team, but I don't have the budget to do it just yet. I need to free up £2.5 million. Luke Shaw at 5.5 could be someone that I replace, one of my higher priced defenders, but United's fixtures just too favorable for the next few weeks, so he will be staying. I'll commit to that, and instead, another £5.5 million defender is Reece James. So I'll look for a replacement for James primarily because of those next two fixtures, but some other ones coming up as well, Spurs and Man City. So Chelsea with some tough fixtures, as well as the fact that he's subject to rotation with Thomas Tuchel. So we're going to move him out, find a replacement for Reece James, and save as much money as we possibly can. So there are some £4.5 million defenders available, but if we can save £1.5 million, that'd be great. So if we can get someone at £4 million, that would be ideal. And there are some options available. Daniel Amartey is the first one that comes to mind at £4 million. And I would probably lean towards this pickup. As you see some of the more higher priced ones, we're just going to sort this according to form. So these are based off of their results last week. There's Amartey. These are his upcoming fixtures. West Ham, Norwich, Man City's not ideal, but then Brighton after that. So not terrible as far as upcoming opponents go. £4 million. Pretty good considering that I expect him to play week in, week out. So I'd be happy going that route. Let's see who else is available. Shane Duffy at Brighton, £4 million as well. 4.2% selected, and it's coming off a 2-1 win over Burnley. So an option here. Everton and Leicester, some of the more difficult opponents coming up for Brighton. Could go that route. Maybe you're considering that. That's not bad. It's not terrible. Let's see who else would be an option. Ben Johnson there for West Ham, £4 million, 2.5% selected. So these not popular picks by any means, but we're looking for value here. And they're going up against Leicester and then United in a few weeks. So some challenging opponents there. But again, those are actually three pretty good options. Take your pick. I'm going to go with Amartey though. And I feel pretty good about locking that in at £4 million for Leicester, coming off a 6-point performance, and that would save me £1.5 million. So I'd still have to shave another million, and I hesitate to take it out of the midfield. I could definitely, but I might move Tierney and go with another £4 million defender to free up that extra million to get Lukaku for Game Week 4 and swap him out for Timo Werner. So that's the plan right now. We'll see how it plays out. And if you want to take me on in the Spots League, the league code is right there. Join the league. Pretty decent chance of beating me. I'm struggling to start, but it's the first year I'm taking it seriously. So hopefully we start improving and move up the ladder, get some green arrows and improve these performances, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, now to the fantasy draft content, and before we get a look at my lineup for Game Week 1, a quick shout out to everyone who commented on last week's video and really just drove home the point that it was probably better to tank in game week 1 and bench your better players in an effort to get Romelu Lukaku off of waivers ahead of game week 2. So that's the strategy I went with, and here's how my team did. So this is the screen that everyone wanted to see when they opened up their FPL app, went into their draft league. A loss, first of all, a measly 23 points, last place in their league, which means I get first pick for the upcoming waiver claims, which is on Friday. Very excited about that because I will be adding Romelu Lukaku to the team, and this is the team that got it done. Great performance all around. Well done, fellas. Everyone doing their job except for Tarkowski and Firmino, who did not get the message. A couple tryhards. It's okay. We forgive you. We move on. Hopefully we can replicate those performances next week, but not everyone else. We got to make a few changes here. Obviously, Lukaku comes into the lineup, who will be replacing Alex Lacazette. Sorry, bye-bye. Thank you so much for your service. And we'll also be making a few changes to the back line as well. So busy transfer window for me coming up heading into the weekend. But overall, happy with the loss and excited to add Lukaku to the team. Okay, this is the part that all you fantasy draft viewers have been waiting for, the waiver 11 for game week 2. These are the best available players on waivers in one of my draft leagues. So Raya in goal, the last dragon, holding it down, coming off a clean sheet for Brentford against Arsenal. Then through the defense, I've got Joel Matip, Chalobah, Varane, and Pinnock. Varane's obviously the defender that everyone will be trying to pull into their lineup, and for good reason. He should be starting for Manchester United week in, week out. And then we get to the midfield, Canos and Buemo, Doucouré, Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura I really like, but let's get back to the Brentford assets. Canos and Buemo, both good attacking options for Brentford. Canos coming off that goal is a very nice strike. So take either of those two. Get some Brentford on your team if you can, if you have drop spots available. Speaking of drop spots available, obviously, you're going to be making room for Lukaku if you have first pick. And I can't stress that enough. Whoever it is, whoever your third striker is, you get Lukaku into your lineup. You obviously know that. Dennis is another one. If you have a drop spot and you're not getting Lukaku and you need a forward, I think Emmanuel Dennis for Watford is a great pickup, especially because that position is so thin. It's so hard to find forwards, which is why you see Marcus Forss once again on the bench there. That's what you're dealing with. He's a player who comes off the bench for Brentford, and he's not great, but that's just what's available. Speaking of the bench, Alonso Bergwijn also available there, and Freddie Woodman of Newcastle getting onto the waiver 11 bench as well. Alonso, an interesting one. Obviously, when he plays, he has the ability to scored a free kick in their opener. Bergwijn looked pretty good in their match against Manchester City as well. A good attacking option for Tottenham. Just don't know if he's going to play. And the same goes for Lucas Moura, who's actually in the starting waiver 11. I just love the way Moura's played throughout his career. Such a fun, entertaining, exciting player to watch, and I do believe that when he's on the pitch, he does perform. So he's one I think it's worth picking up at this stage, especially if he's going to see consistent minutes with Tottenham. So there it is. That's the waiver 11 for game week 2. Probably the best waiver 11 we'll have all season. Okay, that wraps up the Game Week 2 preview video. I hope it helped you out. I hope you learned something. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at TheSpot4FF. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend, whatever you're doing. Do it safely. Thanks so much for hanging out at The Spot.